the first thing you need to know if you're going to play in a Trilogy Challenge is the shirts run a little bit big. This is a small. Usually I wear mediums and they're about the same size, so just get like a size down if you're playing in a Trilogy Challenge. The next thing you need to know is how the discs fly, and I'm here to tell you about it. If you're playing in a Trilogy Challenge, you get 3 discs, a shirt, and a mini. The 3 discs are Latitude 64 Retro Keystone, the Westside Discs Tournament Gatekeeper, and the Dynamic Discs Lucid Vandal. And I'm going to go through all of these, but the Vandal is my favorite, so I'm going to talk about that one last. Freaking focusing on me this time? What do you think? Should I just look at the screen the whole time? Should I just do the video like this, where I'm looking at the screen and talking about the discs? Okay, so let's start with the Keystone. The Keystone is a putter from Latitude 64. It's in the retro plastic. The retro plastic is similar to like prime plastic. If you've ever thrown DD discs, it's very grippy. It's not super durable. It is their like most baseline plastic, but in a Trilogy Challenge and a putter, it feels pretty good. I really like this run. For the flight itself, for the feel, it's a beadless putter. You can tell I've been doing disc reviews for Westside. For the feel, it's a beadless putter, and it's got kind of a wider rim than most putters. It's fast for a putter. And that shows in the numbers that I don't know off the top of my head, but you can see them right down here, hopefully. I'll hopefully look them up unless I forget. Anyway, so it's an understable putter. So what that means is I kind of liked it for outside the circle because it had a very straight flight, but I did have to throw it kind of harder than I normally do. I generally putt with Wardens that are very floaty, and I just kind of let them take their time and get to the chains. And this kind of needed a more direct approach. So that's my excuse for why I didn't play very well. Besides the fact that I never really play well at Trilogy Challenges, but I had a good time. Anyway, for throwing, if you start the Keystone on a hyzer, it'll just go really, really straight. If you really crank on it, it will finish to the right, but for the most part, it just goes straight and holds the hyzer the whole time. If I put even more hyzer on it, you could get a hyzer flight out of it, but that's just not how it's designed to fly. It's designed to just go dead straight, even on a little bit of a hyzer release. For the Gatekeeper honestly really surprised me. I had a prototype Gatekeeper because they gave those to all the team members, and then I threw the first run VIP Gatekeepers when they came out. That's like their lucid plastic, and those were a little bit straighter than the prototypes. Those would kind of have a little bit of turn, and they might glide to the right, but then they would still have that straight fade at the end. And these are actually more stable than the VIP, which isn't traditional. Usually the VIP plastic is more overstable than the tournament, but these tournament Gatekeepers are some of the most stable Gatekeepers I've thrown. I can crank this one on a little bit of a hyzer, and I know it's just going to go whoop, whoop, dead straight. It has a little bit of fade at the end, but it's very similar to like an EMAC Truth. Maybe a little bit slower, so it doesn't quite have that much distance, it doesn't quite have that much glide, but in general it's just going to go dead straight. I could put it on more hyzer, and this is actually the shot that I used a lot because I was out on an open course, and this was the most stable of the discs, so I would put it on a good bit of hyzer and just play that consistent hyzer into the green. If you're trying to get a little bit of a flex out of it, you can throw it flat and torque it over to the right some, but for the most part, it just likes to go straight. It's very similar to the Keystone, except where the Keystone kind of is an understable, you kind of flip it up there. The Gatekeeper is just kind of straight out of the box. It's very similar to an EMAC Truth, just a little bit less glide and a little bit less distance, I think. And then lastly, my favorite is the Vandal. The Vandal is a 9-speed, 5 glide, turn of negative 1.5 and a fade of 2, I think, don't quote me on that. And this is an understable version of the Escape and or a faster version of the Maverick. Again, I've been throwing my prototype Vandal for a while now, and that one is actually a little bit more stable than this Trilogy Challenge one. This one I actually really like that, because this one if I turn it over to the right, I can trust that it's going to hold to the right the whole time. I like this one a little bit more for rollers. I could put it down on a nice angle and I knew that it was going to finish right, whereas my prototype, it would kind of finish straight. It'd still flip over, but it'd just go very straight. Yeah, the Vandal was really good for hyzer flips. I could start it on a hyzer and let it flip up and it would go very, very straight. And honestly, a lot of lower arm speed players, like Bino Bobby's really liking his Vandal. He can throw it on just a little bit of hyzer and get that straight flight, or if he throws it flat, it'll get a little bit of an S. These Trilogy Challenge Vandals are awesome. If you like the Maverick and you want something that's just going to have a little bit more distance, the Vandal is going to be that disc for you. And if you like the Escape and you want something that'll just finish a little bit more right or be a little bit smoother turn, that's the thing. Like when it turns very smoothly. Some discs tend to go and flip really fast. This one just kind of over there. So that is what I think about the Trilogy Challenge discs. Honestly, the Vandal is easily my favorite. I have a Vandal in my bag, and I might actually take it out for this one because this one's a little bit less stable. The Gatekeeper I couldn't really click with. That probably was how I was throwing. I just couldn't get a good release out of it. I'm actually going to give the Gatekeeper to one of my coworkers who was really excited about getting a tournament plastic Gatekeeper. And the Keystone, I didn't like at all. Personally, I putted very bad with the Keystone. I'm counting that. I missed like 50. Like I said, I made one jump putt, I think, but it was to save par, and I think I missed everything else inside the circle. So needless to say, I will not be throwing the Keystone anymore. I'm actually going to give this away tonight on Twitch. Twitch.tv/DannyDisc. If you come hang out, I will be giving away the Keystone. Let's call it 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock Central Time. I'll be giving away this Keystone. So come hang out if you're trying to get that. Let me know if you have any questions about playing in a Trilogy Challenge, how the discs fly. A quick note for Patreon supporters, thank you so much if you are supporting me on Patreon. When I do videos like this that are sort of disc reviews, because I also work at Dynamic Discs and I'm sponsored by Dynamic Discs, I feel like these are almost sponsored videos, and so I'm not going to charge my patrons when I post these videos. These are completely free. When I do the instructional content, that's only what I charge my patrons for, so thank you for your support over there, and thank you for supporting the instructional content there. So that's it. And that's all I've got for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Always remember, slow is smooth, and smooth is far.